Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have a track from an act named Dah Fre titled Pretty as a Bullet. And if we switch over to here, we have the track on the screen on YouTube. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and I'm going to hear what we think. Oh, wow, okay. I forgot that I have my headphones turned up. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. I'm loving the LP vinyl kind of warping going on there with these synths, piano, the modulation there. It's kind of pretty.
My grandma was a ray of light in a dark childhood. Dad quoted scriptures as he cooked, actively chopping dope on the Bible, telling me to be ready for Jesus' second arrival. On God, I die, bro.
I instantly adore the delivery of these vocals. It really feels like a story. There's a mix-up of the rhythms in there. You get a feel of who they are and their family and stuff like that. It's really vivid.
Grandma, please save me from the ghetto chokehold. There was always food at her table, the one place things were stable. She even had basic cable. Grandma really loved me a lot, even though I was a degenerate type. Son of a gangster, she was that gangster's mom. Piranha swimming in a school all over my block, stripping kids down, punching they clocks, knocking niggas out socks. Going to grandma's was a journey and a half, though just a few blocks from my dad's.
I love the variety and versatility of those drums as well. They're such a great accompaniment to everything else, keeping that groove there. Really slick track, actually. It's kind of criminal that they've got so few views on it.
With nunchucks and samurai swords, older kids taking bikes, they were too big to ride anymore. Open deals, lecherous bakers with open swords. There was always a prayer before I stepped on the porch. Ooh, drive-bys like salesmen knocking on doors. 40s hit the ground and you could hear the scream of whores. Or John's burning rubber, trying to dip the police force. Man, I just don't even...
That word play with the Johns, that was some clever wordplay there. There is some creativity going on there.
Anymore. I had a really understandably difficult time when I was growing up. People just didn't really get it, man. They looked at me and they were like, why does he act up in class? I mean, I tried to act my best, but I had really shitty role models at best. So when they wonder why I'm the way I am, just look at my story and how I was raised. Family is more than just a funny thing. You don't get to choose how they be. My aunt drinking herself to death. Comatinis as her liver rots in bed. An IV of alcohol to tame the pains of all her falls. She cut her wrist to feel something.
Ooh. Got so dark. Got so dark there, man.
Sliced the knuckles to know what Chris felt when he flew through his windshield. Blacked out like 5% tint, my mom's favorite mistress. Sandy with the alcohol, Vicodin to top it off. A young kid who's seen it all, then grew up to do it all. But he did it wrong. He was statistically impaired, a victim of a system that don't care. I asked Brandon how we got here, only he died. That's just one more ghost at my side. Another empty seat in the stadium of life. The gift of my curse is to watch others struggle, unable to pop the bubble of poison inside that eats them alive. I've gotten sick of eating all this humble pie, but the trauma cake made me anorexic to pain. Dad's in the corner doing shady things. My dad did a lot of shady things.
Like this, you can just imagine being in the house with these different people and the pain that they're going through and the difficulties and the struggle is a part of it. And it's so visceral, man. I think this is honestly one of the best, like, hip-hop rap tracks I've reviewed. Not necessarily because of the flow or the accompaniment arrangement of it, but it's the storytelling. There's something just so vivid about it. It puts you into his space, his environment. It's alluring and simultaneously depressing. I feel an incredible sympathy for this musician, and
he brought a lot of people horrible pain. And then my mom, she did the same thing to me, to herself, and to anybody that was near or around. It was unavoidable, really. Just everything that came down on me. I was a kid and I just couldn't vocalize it, so I try to put it in music now.
great work having space. That halfway mark, really classy effort. Gives a listener a chance just to kind of absorb it and make sense of it. Incredible effort.
Slanging pain, forecast shows a chance of cocaine with the rain. That's hell, dropping ice rocks, then dipping off to sit in a cell. Getting dope sick, not feel too well, like some of my cousins and siblings. As a kid they gave me Ritalin, that wasn't why I couldn't concentrate. I was focused on my hunger pains, trauma waiting at home, so I run away. My sister had a kid taken for baking cakes, she pimped herself for diamond rings. Nothing changes in my hood, in my family, in my blood. Faces turn hollow from all the drugs they scored, shots they seen and delivered upon the streets. We all just crooks and dope fiends, cowards the whole lot. Shortest straw pulled has to answer the door for the cops. Menace to sobriety or not, cuffs were on me, attached to my family tree. I met stupid girls like Becky who fetishized me. You know, the thing that just tears me up the most inside, that I can't get over, and when I try to sleep at night, it just keeps me up. I mean, I swear this is a fucking worm inside of my brain. It's literally devouring me. It takes my memories, some that are bad, but a lot that are good. And I'm left just confused as fuck, and I don't really understand what I'm supposed to do at this point.
I think this is the most raw. Pretty as a bullet.
So I try to settle myself down, and I'll explain this the simplest that I can. It's not my mom, it's not my dad, it's not all my family, it's not being in jail, it's not the girls that broke my heart, it's not the drugs that I did or the death that I witnessed. It's that fucking hole in my chest. It never got filled when I was a kid, and as an adult now, it never gets fucking filled, not just one drop, zero. So what am I supposed to fucking do? You tell me.
I mean, what do you even say to that? Because this is the conclusion of my review of Pretty as a Bullet by Dah Fre off of the Aristotle album, as far as I can tell. Where do you start with a track like this? The story is so easy to understand, despite the complexity of it. You have someone who has a hole in them, and they're trying to figure out why they're in that pain that they're in. And they're going through their family and their different issues of different members, and the girls that the exes, and I think they mentioned jail time and the death that they, all these horrific, really dreadful experiences. And it just comes down to not knowing what to do with that hole in your heart, your hole in your chest, you know, how to fill that. Not having it filled as a kid, not having it filled as an adult. I know many people, including myself, who can relate to it on many different levels. I'm not going to say for a second that I can relate to what he's feeling. Everyone's got their own journey and their own story and their own pain that's special. Not special, but like, as in like it's unique to them, should I say. You know, I just hope he is able to find something to fill that gap, to make him, to patch that up, or to heal it. Because I think a lot of people are going to listen to this and they're going to feel like they can relate. And it's testament to Dah Fre's vocal technique, because it's not just that the flow was phenomenal and the words came through clearly. It's that when he was rapping, he was expressing himself so eloquently and so clearly and so maturely, and so like there was a significant amount of experience behind it. Because, you know, often you get rappers who repeat different flows and they won't go away from that too much. But I think the more experience you get, the more you can step away from the mic and allow there to be space. You don't need to be sort of paranoid about having that rhyme scheme, that syllable stack the same throughout. You can have different flows and different grooves within that part of it, you know. It's a lot of what makes rap special is not only the words that are spoken and the wordplay and the story that's told, but it's also the rhythm and the way that you express and the intensity of the vocal performance there, and just the anguish, the angst, the trepidation, the difficulty there that Dah Fre is going through is incredibly transparent within this performance. And I have to admire and show a lot of respect to Dah Fre for their work on this track. I'm very proud of them for feeling brave enough to put this out there. I think, again, they told the story incredibly well, and the vocal performance was authentic to it. The structure of the track, as I understand it, was through composed. It was a tale from start to finish. It was a story, and I love that. I don't think you could have put a chorus in here. It just wouldn't have floated. It just wouldn't have done well. And as I said in like another rap and hip hop track I reviewed recently that was like from Treasy and The Game that didn't have that verse chorus thing, I'm enjoying when people just step away from that and they just have the tail. You might be wondering, okay, but it's 5 minutes 20. Well, that main motif of the synths, the keys, the bass, the drums and everything, it was just so gentle and neutral. It was like you were in a room and you could just sit and talk about it. Like it was meant to be a supportive environment, which wasn't meant to facilitate any specific type of mood. It was meant to be kind of calming, but at the same time kind of meter out the velocity of what was coming through that microphone. And I think that it did incredibly well at moderating it in a way that was respectful to what Dah Fre was rapping and saying, you know, but also didn't overstep the boundaries and make it sound disingenuous. It was an incredible accompaniment, lovely extensions there, and a little bit of twinkly sometimes, and occasionally we had some instruments step away. It was just the bass and the drums or something like that. Other times it was just the synth, the keys and stuff like that. We had range throughout because we understood that even if the flow, the bars were fire, man. The bars were fire. Yeah, I suppose that it's a weird thing because I don't think this is one of those tracks where like you're like, wow, that line was crazy, man. It's because you feel such a sadness for him. Does that make sense? Dah Fre is one of the best hip hop rap vocalists I've reviewed in my time as a reviewer. I want to hear more from him, but I also think I needed time to recover from that. Thankfully, the production, recording, mixing, and mastering was sensational. It was loud, nice and loud. Limited compression was dope. The actual recording quality, the vocals itself, were fantastic, and it was filtered and a little bit of reverb and stuff. No, actually not a lot of reverb, just enough to make it present, but not too much to sort of detract from it. The stereo field was nice and wide, and lots of instruments laid around there, and it was glued nicely in the mix. Ultimately, this is a very, very strong track, and I just want to say, thank you for watching this review of Pretty as a Bullet by Dah Fre. I'm gonna go think about this for a bit because this is one of those tracks where like it hits you like a train, and I need time to sort of absorb it. If you enjoyed this track, please, what do I say? If you appreciate this track, should I say? I don't know if you can enjoy listening to someone going through this or telling this story, but if you appreciate it, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time. It's to help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.